You need to know this. Even if this person never says it, even if they smile as if everything is fine, it's not. After you, nothing worked the same. No touch fit. No presence was enough. This person even tried, forced themselves to feel, said I'm fine with their voice but not with their heart. Nothing filled the void, nothing reached them, nothing penetrated. You were what this person didn't know they needed. You were what disarmed defenses they didn't even know existed. And since then, everything feels smaller, shallower, more distant. This person realized it, not in the details, but in the emptiness. In the attempt to recreate a feeling that only happened with you, you became a kind of benchmark, not by choice, but because after experiencing something so whole, anything partial becomes noise. This person still compares, still misses what they don't always admit, still carries what you both were, even without knowing what to do with it. They might even be with someone, they might even seem happy, but it's just a facade because inside this person knows nothing has ever been the same since you. You need to pause for a moment. Forget about time, turn off the automatic, silence what comes from the outside. Now listen, not with your ears, with the part of you that still beats inside, even when you pretend you've moved on. Because there's something you need to realize, something you may already feel, but haven't yet had the courage to face. This person has never been the same. After you, nothing returned to a state of balance. Nothing calmed down. Nothing flowed with the same naturalness. Other attempts happened. Other names came. Other stories began. But none touched them in the same way. None resonated with that same frequency. None had that comfortable silence, that invisible fit, that feeling of this is it. This person never forgot you, but not in the romantic way people usually think. It's not about holding on to pictures or replaying scenes in your mind. It's more silent than that, more intimate, more incorruptible. It's the kind of presence that remains even after absence. It's the kind of memory that refuses to become the past. Because what you did, what you both lived, doesn't just fade away. It was body. It was soul. It was vibration. You touched parts that no one else got close to. You made this person realize a side of themselves that had never been awakened. And once recognized, it can't be unseen. This person tried to stop feeling, tried to rationalize, told themselves that it was just a phase, but it wasn't. It was the moment when everything ignited. It was the place where they discovered they could be more, but only when it was with you. And that stayed, and that weighs heavily, and that never disappeared, even when they smile. Even when they seem fine, even when they're with someone else, you're still there. Not as a memory, but as an absence. You are the space that no one else could occupy. You are the echo that reverberates behind all the "I'm okays" spoken on the surface. This person has changed, and so have you, but what you both built, that can't be put into words. It was an understanding, a silent language, a perception without explanation. And now, every time this person tries to start over, something freezes. No matter how much they try, how hard they push, how much they wish to move on, nothing happens completely, because you took a part and left another inside them. An invisible exchange, irreversible. If you only knew how much this person still feels, even if they deny it, even if they run away, even if they pretend, if you only knew the frequency with which the unspoken name echoes inside, you would understand. You weren't just a passing moment. You were a rupture. You were a turning point. You were an upheaval. And after an upheaval, nothing goes back to where it was. Everything has to be redone, but they could never redo it. Because nothing else had the same foundation. Everything felt fragile, imitatable, artificial. You became a reference, that one against which everything is compared, even if you don't want to, even if you don't realize it. This person isn't waiting for you to come back. It's not about that. It's about what remains even when no one returns. It's about what endures even without presence. You don't depart because you weren't just a memory. You were an impact. And impacts don't fade over time. They don't erase with distractions. They can't be replaced with new stories. They stay. In the body. In the energy. in the way the world feels afterward. This person can never look at things the same way again, can never give themselves fully in the same way, can never believe in the same way again. You left, but you didn't go away. You remained in everything she stopped being after that. You linger in the places she avoids, in the silences she can't bear, in the songs she skips, in the touches she recoils from. You're in the version of her that only exists close to you, and that version is still there, locked away, quiet, waiting for a space that may never exist again. And listen, don't think this person idealizes you. Don't think you were perfect. It wasn't that. You were real, and that is something you can't find again. She might say she moved on. She might swear she's gotten over it. She might smile for photos. She might post subtle hints. She might love someone else. But inside, there's still a part of her that only you can reach. You know this, you feel this, and if you don't feel it, it's because you've spent too long pretending not to notice. Is it too late to go back? Maybe. But it's never too late to acknowledge, and sometimes just acknowledging can change everything. Because not everything that was lost needs to be recovered, but everything that was real needs to be honored. This person has never been the same after you, and part of you hasn't been the same after her either. So breathe, because what comes next isn't meant to be understood, it's meant to be felt. It doesn't matter how much time has passed. It doesn't matter how many distractions you've piled up. It doesn't matter how many versions of yourself you had to put on to look good. There's a place within you that still resonates when you think back, and that isn't a coincidence. It's residue. It's an imprint left on the soul. That person, the one you tried to hide, rebuild, replace, erase, still carries within them the same question they never dared to ask: do you feel this too? Because deep down, it's not about going back. It's about being remembered. It's about not having been just another one. It's about having marked a territory where nothing else could bloom the same way. Do you really think that person never wondered if you missed them? Do you genuinely believe that their name has never come up in your silence? Because there are moments when everything goes quiet, and only the truth remains, raw, unembellished, unprotected. That truth that hits your chest when an old song plays out of the blue, when someone has a familiar gesture, or when you look at someone and realize you feel nothing. That's when you notice that what you felt for that person was different. It was more real than you could admit at the time, deeper than any story you've lived since. And the hardest part is that now maybe it's too late to fix things, but it's never too late to honor. Honor what was, what existed, what crossed you and still lives within you. You never managed to replace that person. You just got used to their absence, and you know what the difference is. Getting used to something isn't the same as moving on. It's just accepting a nameless pain and moving forward, carrying what has nowhere to go. If this makes sense to you so far, write in the comments yes, and share this video with anyone who needs to stop pretending they've forgotten. Because there's one thing you may not have realized yet. That person, they feel too. They carry too. They hold on to it too. Do you think they never thought of you again? Do you think it was easy for them to watch you leave? Do you think she didn't notice the silence that fell when you left? She did notice. And more. She still feels it today. But she doesn't say anything, because there are pains we don't know how to express. There are absences that are so vast, they don't even fit into words. So she smiles, posts pictures, says she's okay, pretends she's moved on. But when she lays her head on the pillow, she knows. She knows, she feels. She brings you back to life in silence. You were what no one else could be. You were the safe space, the emotional home, the moment of peace amid chaos. And she wonders, sometimes, if you still feel, if you still remember, if you still hold on. The truth? You do hold on. You do too. Even if you try to convince yourself otherwise, even if you get involved with other people, even if you say, that's in the past. It hasn't passed. It's just buried upright. It's alive inside you, and it always has been. Now answer me. Honestly, do you think there's still a way back? Or has it turned into nothing but frozen longing? That person, the one you swear you've forgotten, the one who seems so far away now, so from another time, so from another life, she never truly left. She's in the little decisions you make without thinking, in the way you avoid certain places, in how you respond coldly, even when you want to show affection. She's in the walls you built after her, in the "I'm fine" responses you give out of obligation, in the hugs you offer with your body but not with your soul. And if you're honest, you'll realize it was after her that you stopped giving yourself completely. It was after her that you started to hold back, to measure, to control. Because when you were with her, you were all in. It was effortless. It was real. And when something is that real, when something exposes so much of yourself and it's scary, you felt too seen, too vulnerable, too dependent. And when she left, when you pulled away, you decided never again like that. But what you didn't realize is that by protecting yourself from that, you've also closed yourself off from the possibility of feeling something real again. You've built up defenses and confused protection with peace, distance with maturity, indifference with overcoming. But deep down, you feel. You feel everything. You feel when someone new doesn't spark anything in you. You feel when you try to like them but nothing shifts inside. You feel when you touch someone and there's no presence at all, because you're still there, trapped in the intensity you experienced with that person, in the connection you've never found again, in the memory your body carries even if your mind tries to erase it. And you may not admit this to anyone, but you know there's a part of you that's still waiting for a sign, even if you pretend it's not. You know there are things that only they understood, that only they could awaken, that only with them were you. Do you remember the feeling? That calm without reason? That lightness in your breath just by hearing their voice? The world that slowed down just by being near? That doesn't get rebuilt. That can't be manufactured with effort. That doesn't happen in every encounter. It happens once, maybe twice, in a lifetime. And when it does happen, it leaves marks. Marks that don't bleed but never fully heal. Marks that resurface in the silences, in the longings that have no name, on days when everything feels fine but something inside you and doesn't. This person feels the same way, even if they've never told you, even if their life has moved on, even if other names have filled their routine. The routine, yes, but not the heart, not that space where only you arrived. There comes a time when we stop denying, not because we want to go back, but because we need to recognize what still lives on. And you need to realize this. Not feeling for anyone what you felt for one person is not weakness. It's emotional memory. It's an emotional trace. It's proof that what you had was real. And real doesn't disappear. Real doesn't die. Real just changes places. This person was never the same again. And neither were you. And it doesn't matter what the world sees. It doesn't matter what you post. It doesn't matter how many years go by. Deep down, in that space no one touches, her name still lives on. And it vibrates. And it calls. With you, everything was presence. Even in silence. Even from a distance. Even after it became just a memory. This person could never feel for anyone what they felt for you. Not out of pride nor by choice. Simply they couldn't. You were the exception. And those who have lived an exception can never be satisfied with what is ordinary. This person even tried. Tried to move on, tried to be loved, tried to allow new touches, new affections, new conversations. But the body didn't respond the same way. The soul didn't open the same doors. The heart didn't race the same way. It wasn't for lack of effort. It was due to an excess of truth in what was shared with you. You became a reference, not on a rational level, but on an emotional one, in instinct, in that perception that can't be controlled. You marked a place where no one else could ever stay. This person may smile, may say they've moved on, but there are things only they know, things that no one sees. You know that song they always skip? It's you. That path they avoid taking. You. The sudden silence when someone talks about intense relationships. It's you again. You didn't leave. You stayed. You lingered in the gaze they lost, in the hope that never returned, in the surrender they never offered again. And you? Do you think all of this was just for them? You carry it too. You feel it too. You also close your eyes sometimes and without meaning to go back to that moment, that touch, that gaze. That feeling that for the first time, everything was perfectly in place. It was with this person that you discovered what connection truly was, without haste, without effort, without logic. After them, everything became an attempt, a script, a rehearsal. But nothing was spontaneous after that. Nothing was whole. Nothing was you. And if you are sincere, deep down there's a part of you that still hopes for a chance to reunite with that feeling, even if just for a second, even if it never happens again. Just to prove to yourself that it wasn't a figment of your imagination, that it wasn't an exaggeration, that it wasn't just a phase, it was real, and it still is. That person misses you. Not necessarily your presence, but the way they felt when they were with you. They miss who they could be with you because no one else made them feel that way. No one else touched that place in them. And when we lose the only person who really accessed us, we pretend to move on. But in reality, we freeze, and you froze too. You froze where you still feel. You froze where you didn't have the courage to return. But now it's time to stop pretending. If this resonates with you, comment below. I felt it. This message is for those who carry memories that still hurt, even after so much time. And leave a like on this video, because sometimes that's all we need, a reminder that we're not feeling alone. Share this video with someone who has also been living in this silence, someone you know and still feels. And if you've made it this far, if something stirred inside you, subscribe to the channel, stay close. Here, we talk about what no one else dares to say. This conversation doesn't end here. There's more to feel, more to reveal, more to remember. Click here for the next video, and I'll be waiting for you there.